Welcome to Community Report. I'm your host, Vicki Prichard. Dr. Judith Van Ginkel is with us today. She is the president of Every Child Succeeds and the author of a terrific book, Life Begins and Ends with Girlfriends. Judy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What an extraordinary impact you're having on so many people and relationships, which moves me on to our next subject of this wonderful book that you've authored.
Life Begins and Ends with Girlfriends.
Exactly. Tell us about that. How long was that in the making, and how many memories did you draw upon to compose this book?
Well, I wrote the book with a girlfriend of mine named Betsy Kite Newman. It took us about 2 years, although it shouldn't have taken that long. We were just having a lot of fun writing it.
I can imagine. I can imagine. It's a terrific read.
We interviewed well over 75 girls and women, ages 10 to 100. The 100-year-old is my mother. And we talked with them about the relationships with other girls and women in their lives. And for the older women, we were interested in how these things had changed over the course of a lifetime. We got remarkable stories. As we have presented the book in meetings and book clubs and other kinds of presentations, what we encourage the audience to do is to think about their own lives. I mean, Garrison Keillor said once, there are no answers, there are only stories.
Yes, yes.
We all have
So
stories,
true.
and they're all important.
Yes.
And think about them, and the information, the memories that come back to you are important, because your mind's a ruthless editor.
Yes, it is. That's an excellent description. And did you find that many of the women that you talked to, and the women who you've since met with to discuss the book, that many of them went through similar, for lack of a better term, chapters in their lives, in their friendships?
Oh,
and genres of friends?
Oh, they
perhaps?
did. They did. And one of the things that's most fun when I'm talking to a group of women is when they are willing to begin to tell their own stories. And one of the things I often say is that Betsy and I allowed ourselves to be vulnerable. I mean, there's some very personal information in the book, but you can't really ask someone else to be honest themselves unless you are honest, willing to be honest as well.
How tough was that?
It was really hard. I mean, it was hard enough that right before the book was going to the publisher, I called Betsy one Sunday afternoon and said, I can't do this. You know, there's too much in here. I think we need to work on it some more. Meaning, I didn't want it out there.
Edit what I'm about to say.
And Betsy is a very sweet and kind woman. She said, okay. And I thought about it a couple of hours, and I called her back. I thought, you can't do that to Betsy. But there are messages in the book that women resonate with. Things like being willing to take a risk to be a friend.
Right.
Understanding that things don't always work out well, and we all have examples of friendships that didn't.
Right.
But being willing to dust yourself off and try again, because having friendships, relationships with girlfriends are so important. There's more and more evidence showing that you're healthier.
Oh, I believe it.
It's your girlfriend who will say, did you get a mammogram?
You're absolutely right. They will put their hand on your back and hold you accountable for many things.
So, and that keeps you healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It helps to prevent depression. It is, so the risk of making friendships, we feel, way outweighs the risk of a friendship ending. We talk about celebrating the temporary, meaning sometimes people are very lucky and they have friends for a lifetime.
Right.
And there have been a lot of women who have come forward and often with their friend saying, we have been friends since we were 6. But that's not always true.
No.
And in today's world, we move so often, and we're so far from what my father used to call a home place,
Right.
that you have a friend for a while. Maybe it's related to your child's school, maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's someone you work with, and then life swirls on.
Right. Still a meaningful relationship.
But it still matters.
Absolutely. It's huge,
it
isn't
still
it?
matters. And these people all become very much a part of who we are.
They do. They basically help define us, don't they?
They do
Don't you
indeed.
think?
They do indeed. And women who have read the book, have gone back and reconnected. I can't tell you how many have said, have called or written and said, I should have been in touch with so and so, and I didn't, and I didn't, and I read the book, or I came to this presentation, and I called. It happened to me. I mean, if this book meant nothing else, there are 3 people that I reconnected with.
Is that right?
A college roommate from years ago, a friend from the time when my children were small, somebody who lived out of town, a woman who lived in Cincinnati. The relationship ended badly. I never knew why, but
Reconnected?
Found
out why, and did the relationship, friendship move on?
Yeah, and that often, sometimes you have no resolution. I mean,
Well,
you just
true.
don't know.
True, very good point.
But in this one case, it did. And
That had to be scary.
well, it was scary, and all the scary thing is, Vicki, that one Sunday afternoon, these things all happened in sequence within a matter of hours.
No kidding.
I got 3 phone calls.
What are the odds of that happening?
But if the book, for me personally, meant nothing more, there was nothing more I got out of it than that. We learned a lot from the women we talked to. We learned a lot by the self-discovery that is required when you undertake a project like this.
Absolutely. You have to mine from within, don't you think?
You have to start there.
Yes.
You have to start there, and you have to understand what's important to you, because this is very much a personal journey.
It absolutely is. How fun has it been when you have the presentations, when you talk to groups of women, to get the dialogue going? Is there no stopping them? Is it tough to end the conversations?
It's easier than you would think.
Right.
It's almost as if there is a pent-up demand. Women want to talk about these things. They want a forum where they can. They want it to be legitimate.
Right.
And we spend a lot of time with our families, and sometimes our families are our friends, and sometimes they're not. But the family needs and demands often come first. When we're very young, teenagers, we understand that our girlfriends are important.
Right.
When we are older, and I'm saying, I don't know, 55 or 60, we begin to understand again why they are.
Yes.
And in the middle, we have growing children, families, careers, all these other things, and often the girlfriends are the ones that take a back seat.
Judy, tell us, where, if people want to find your book, there's a website that they can go to, right?
We have a website called Life Begins and Ends with Girlfriends.com.
All right.
It's also available through Cincinnati Book Publishers.
All right.
Both of those places are easily available, and actually on the website there is a link to Cincinnati Book Publishers.
Okay.
So
They can
that's
find that
probably
there's-
the easiest way to
right.
get it. Or you could order it through a bookstore, Barnes & Noble or Joseph Beth.